Forsberg's Forum. Forsberg, it was all about Jayson Tatum at FedEx Forum last night. What do you got for us?
So I got 4 numbers that I think will start pushing the agenda of why, by May of 2023, Jayson Tatum should be holding up an MVP trophy. And it starts with 31.2, which is what the point total that Jayson Tatum is averaging to start the season. Why is this remarkable? Because no Celtics player in the history of the franchise has averaged more than Larry Bird at 29.9 points. So Jayson has a real chance to send above that number. He's up 4.3 points from last year. And I don't even think that three-point shot has gotten to the level that he thinks it could be a weapon. And yet he's finding different ways to score, making it look easy. And while the MVP isn't necessarily the guy who scores the most points, and I don't think a scoring title is in Jayson's future, his efficiency with that has been phenomenal. I love that. He is finding ways to score even when that jumper's not falling.
And Jayson Tatum off to a hot start offensively, which isn't typical of him when you take a look at seasons past. All right, what's coming in next?
Well, the next number is 118, which is the Celtics offensive rating this season. It's not just good. It's not just number 1 in the NBA. It would be historically good right now. It would be the highest offensive rating in league history. The Nets have that mark, 117.3 a couple seasons ago in that pandemic-shortened season. But the Celtics offense is humming, and I think a lot of it falls back to what Tatum is doing. And when you have a scorer like that and he draws all that attention, it makes it easier. But credit to Joe Mazzulla, who came in, and the Celtics offense was kind of inconsistent last year, really leaned heavy onto their defense. This year, it's just been humming to a point where I'm like, is it sustainable? And then I think, yes, because they've had so many lulls during games and kicked away 10-point leads. I think the Celtics offense can be even better than it is, especially when they get a little guy named Robert Williams back to run and do lobs. But Jayson Tatum deserves a lot of credit for where that offense is right now.
Of course, you had to sneak in Rob Williams into the segment that's all about Jayson Tatum. All right, what's the next one?
Let's kick it over to the other side of the ball. And defensively, I think this is the biggest story for me coming off that Memphis game. Jayson Tatum took on the challenge of going up against another superstar in Ja Morant and held him to 0 for 4 shooting with 2 blocks and 0 points. And I thought it was especially telling at the end of that game. Tatum wanted that matchup. There's that early block, pinned a full-steam Morant to start the game. And then here he is, Morant's going to lean in, and Tatum's like, nope, not right now. And that helped salt away the game. And I just feel like Tatum is starting to embrace the idea of, he is an above-average defender based on his size and his length, and he can make things difficult. Donovan Mitchell found that out the other night trying to get a shot off before overtime there. But I think taking on Ja and forcing him to miss that much, it matters. And I don't know if necessarily Tatum is going to muscle his way into the all-defense conversation because the Celtics defense is lacking right now. But I think by the end of the year, when we're looking at the potential ballots, we'll say, what differentiates Jayson Tatum is that he plays defense way more than Luka, and he impacts the game on both ends, much like a Giannis Antetokounmpo.
And that's a difference between a star in the NBA and a superstar in the NBA, a guy that's going to go out there and not only score a bunch of points, but also defend when his team needs him to. All right, last but not least, what do you got?
My last number is 14.5, and that is essentially the percentage of his shots that he's being fouled on this season. And here's why that matters. Jayson Tatum is living at the free throw line early in this season. And it shows an aggressiveness. It shows a willingness to draw contact. And I think this was a huge focus for Tatum this offseason. He wanted to find ways to get more efficiency with his offense. And that means going strong to the basket. He doesn't have these out-of-control drives anymore. He's finishing with floaters and all these. And I just feel like he has evolved into a complete player on both ends of the court. And just, Kia, start shining up that trophy right now. Maybe send it to Boston to save you some shipping costs. I feel like Jayson Tatum has muscled his way into this conversation, and this is only the tip of the iceberg.
And Forsberg, you made a really great case for Jayson Tatum and that MVP conversation, but let's hear what Vegas has to say. Let's bring in Tom Giles for that. And Giles, what is Vegas saying about Jayson Tatum and possibly winning the MVP?
Yeah, well, right now, he's got the 3rd best odds to win the MVP. Basically, wherever you look, you're still looking at Giannis at the top and Luka second, but Jayson Tatum with the 3rd best odds. And when you compare it to where he started the season, which was 7th on that list, he's passed Embiid, he's passed Jokic, he's passed Kevin Durant, and now you see Tatum at 6-1 to win the MVP. And that is a pretty good climb right there, followed by Ja Morant and Steph Curry.
And let's also talk about this Celtics offense and their title odds in terms of getting back to the NBA Finals and winning a title. What is Vegas saying about that? Because before the season, they were saying that the Celtics, they're going to win it all.
Yeah, they were the favorites, and they're right there kind of with the Clippers and the Warriors. But if you look at the list right now, the Celtics odds haven't really changed. They're still around 6-1. But Milwaukee, due to the fact that they've gotten off to a phenomenal start so far this year, Milwaukee's actually the favorite right now at plus 550. So they have jumped above the Celtics, who are still trailed by, the Clippers, the Warriors, a couple teams out west. The one thing that I find interesting on that list is that the 10th team on that list would be the Cleveland Cavaliers at 18-1. I don't know. I thought that the Cavs looked pretty good in the two matchups with the Celtics, and they should certainly be getting more respect than the Brooklyn Nets, who have the 6th best odds. But yeah, I know that doesn't make a lot of sense, Forsberg. But sometimes it's just about how many people are invested into teams, and they can't really drop the odds too much.
I'm not invested in that team at all.
You're not invested at all. But also, Forsberg, the Bucks, they scare me a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. But this is Celtics Post Up.